So now let me share my screen. Yeah. So this is the code which you have written, correct? Okay, so what I would do is, in this case, I would take all the input upfront first. Whatever input needs to be taken, I'll take that, all the four inputs. And now you can just put it in one single if, that if height is this is one way of getting selected, right? This is on merit, and so I'll put this bracket is for my merit, okay? So and this my if is over here. This is my bracket for if, opens over here and closes over here, okay? So this is for my merit, or there is another way of getting selected, which is that your answer is equal to y, or answer is equal to y. So if someone has this potential selected, right? This is one way of selection, and this is one way of selection, right? And you can be selected in either and put a or over here. So you are selected in either ways. You are selected. So these both come under the if. That's all. And I remove the everything else. Simple and sweet the program becomes. So you accept everything and then just put in one if, that either you get selected on merit. So if someone who has height of 185, weight of 64 and a waist of 31, this is true, and he is not a star kid. But all this true will lead to true, and true or false will always be true, and you can say you are selected. Right? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So this could have made the code more crisp and clear. Now I'll send this code across. Or let me try to run it. Let me try to run it. Okay. Let me try to run it for you. Okay. You're able to see my screen, right? Now. So now I have pasted this code, and now let me run this. And see, okay, are you a star kid? He says, no, I'm not a star kid. But on merit, I have the credentials. Height should be what, 185, kgs should be 64, and waist 31. So is he selected? So you will say you have been selected. Thank you. Getting it? So now the issue was the gender one. That is what you have not done, right? Okay. So let's take the gender part. Okay. Let's take an integer gender. Okay. And we will ask the your gender, one as male, zero as female. Okay. Let's take that also, and so what I will say, please enter your gender, and we will prompt the user, one for male and zero for female. Okay. So and I will accept that in which variable. Have you taken a variable for that? Yes, Jen. Okay, Jen. Now tell me. So you can be selected. Okay. So now let's do Jen without the star kid. Okay. Let's do it without the star kid. So just a normal gender on merit. So we'll comment and comment out this. Okay. Now you just have height, weight, waist and gender, correct? Now if your gender is a male, these are the attributes, correct? So I will say if gen equals to 1 and all these, correct? If he is not a, how do I go towards the right? And if he is not a male, I'll have the second option, correct? As of now, we are not dealing with the star kids, so we can paste this, okay? And I'll just comment it on the right because we might need it for the next program. So I'll not delete it. I'll just keep it aside. I've commented that part. It is out of my. And if the gender is 0, then what height we need? 170. And weight we need 655. And waist we need 26, right? So either of these two conditions. So if he is a male, he has to, if someone is a male, then he has to also fulfill these three conditions. And someone is a female, she also has to fulfill these three conditions. And a human being can be either of them. And you get selected or non-selected, correct? Now let's run it. Now I am doing for a male, okay? I am doing for a male who is 185 and who is 72 kgs, whose waist is 31, and he is a male. So is he selected? On the basis of kg he is selected, right? Kg actually. So I will say what? You are simple. So just you have to play around with this single if statement. Getting it? So I'll just send this code across back to you so that you can refer it. So I'll just write it back over here. And now let's go with male, female, and star kid. So okay. So if that character answer is causing a problem, no, you can use this logic. Keep this also as an integer. Okay. And then here also you can say please enter star kid, 1 for yes, 0 for no. 1 for yes and 0 for no. And I will scan it as an integer and put it in answer, correct? We can just take sk star kid. Put it in sk. Now, so you are selected either on this or either on this. So you will delete this bracket and then we can say for sk equals to 1. But simple, right? So these are the three ways of getting selected, correct? Either you are a male on merit, female on merit, or you are a star kid. So I put a or in between so that either of this condition is fulfilled, you can go through. Now let's run this. So first it is asking, are you a star kid? You say yes, I am a star kid, and you have the worst configuration, height of 140 centimeters, weight of 110 kgs, and inches 36 waist inch. Still, and gender you are a female, and still you have been selected. How to play around with the logical operators? Just in the if, keep on giving brackets. This is the key. Don't write it in one. When you try to write it in one shot, like if I remove this, then it becomes a bit untidy, and then it becomes a bit not legible. Like what are you trying to say? So these brackets will help us understand the code better. Okay. I'll just put the brackets back. Okay, making sense? Okay, so let's now move ahead. And yesterday we were discussing switch case, right? So switch case normally comes in the menu driven programming. Comes in. Okay, so let's do a menu driven program. Okay, just give me a minute, I'll be back. So menu driven programming. So what happens in menu driven programming is first we show a menu to the user, okay? And then we ask the user to choose from that menu. So if we have to go to that language program, did we do that program yesterday, the language one? Please choose your preferred language. There, Aryan? Okay, so just do it practically and then we can explore this. Okay, so let's say which. Okay, so let me take the languages as these. Okay, so and 3 for exit. So which language you want to communicate? So what will you take? You take a variable called as integer choice of language, and then what will you ask the user over here? Printf. Not able to see the screen now. And you will take it in which scan and put in which variable? Scanner, and it's an integer, and we'll go in choice, right? And then what will we do? As they are simple discrete values, better we use switch, right? You will switch which variable? Choice. What are the possible outcomes you are having? So each outcome have a case. So we have a case for 1, case for 2, and a case for 3. And if it doesn't enter anything apart from that, we have a case for default. What should we do in case for 1? What do we print here? Okay. We can say default language set to English. And then what you do? Before every case, before the start of the next case, you should write a break. You should write a, do not write the next case without a break. Before any case opens, there should be a break of the previous case. Okay. Similarly here, yeah, that is what you are. So it was going in the next one. And third, you can just say exit 0 to exit the application. And for that, you have to include std lib. What you have to include? std lib. Just because you have to using this function exit 0. And default, what will default say? Default will say please enter valid input, right? Default will say please enter valid input. Make sense? Simple. Let's try to test this. Okay. You able to see my browser screen? You want this code? the gender. Okay, I'll just keep all the codes ready for you. Later on I can just send it across. Are you able to see my browser screen? Okay, so okay, we are running, so it will not clear, so we'll have to stop it first. Now control A, clear and paste this. And now when you run, you added extra, we didn't close the bracket, we didn't close main. Okay, so now it is asking, okay, this please should have been on a new line, right? This should have been on a new line. Yeah, it should have been a slash n. Okay, as we are running mode, so we cannot make changes. We have to stop and then. Okay, now, so if you want to speak in English, you will say one, and what will it tell you? Language set to English. And if you want to exit straight away, directly you can press 3 and exit. Your program will terminate. Okay. And if you enter anything else apart from that, if you enter 7, it will lead you to the default, and you will say, okay. Okay, so now in your programming journey, there will be a term which will be used very frequently called as nested. What is that term? Any idea what nested means in programming language? Yes, absolutely correct. So one inside the other. So if you have a box, inside that you have another box. So what will you call this as? Nested box. So if you have a oval, inside that you have another oval. So what will you call this? Nested oval. Similarly, if I have a if, and in that I have another if. So if I have a if with some condition, this is my parent if, and in that I have another if. So what will we call this as? Nested if. One if inside the other. So now my question is, what is nested switch now? That is called as nested switch. Okay. So now if he selects English, I want him to then choose UK English or US English. Now what to do? After that I want to give one more option. Please choose which English you want to communicate with, UK English or US English. Now how will we do that? So in case 1, directly I will not say you are set to English, right? I will again put a choice over here. Are you getting what I'm trying to do? This is a bit slippery, try to understand this. So again here what I did is, instead of just displaying your language is English, I am again giving that person a choice. And now my choice will be what? So if he's taking 1, he's gone for English. I will say, if you want to speak in UK accent or, and 3 for exit. And please choose your preferred accent, right? Okay, so now if he enters 1, okay, so I will have 2 variables. So we have preferred language and preferred accent. So now we will say, we'll take it in which accent, right? And now what will we do? Switch this. Now what will we do? This of choice of accent. Right? Yes. switch. And now, so you see the brake is going down. Huh? Keep an eye on the brake. I have not removed the brake. So this brake is of which case? This. Yeah. So let's write the brake on the above the case only. It becomes easier, right? So before this case starts, this brake is for this case. And now when I go to switch, now how many cases will I have? So case 1, and now this case will have its brake, right? Are you getting what I'm trying to do? And now case 2, and this 2 will have its brake, and we'll have a, no, there is not, there will be a case 3. We'll remove the case 3, not required over here. Or if you will exit in the first only. Default with a small d. And as default is the last, only to give a break after that. So now what to do if he chooses case 1? What will we say? No. So we will say you have chosen UK English. Right? You have chosen, so one is UK, right? UK English. And then then there will be a break which is over here, correct? And then what if he says 2, you have chosen, and default we will say please enter valid input. We can say not a valid input. And now similarly if he says Arabic and I want him to tell which Arabic, Dubai Arabic or Qatar Arabic, then we'll pick all this stuff. Instead of just writing one single line, we'll take this break over here, the break for the current case, and we will just change this child. Instead of writing in one single line, we will write this. So case 2 will be which? So Dubai accent or Qatar. Same choice accent. And then if he enters 1, we will say you have chosen what? Hmm? Dubai Arabic, no? And if he chooses 2, you have chosen and then is a valid choice, and this 3 is exit and 4 is okay. Making sense? Let's try to run this and see what happens. Okay, so now it is asking the languages. So let's say it goes for option 2, then what will you see on option 2? Dubai accent or Qatar accent. He says for 2 again. Now you have chosen Qatar. Like this you can keep a nested. Okay, so now I want you to design a application for a fast food. Okay, so this is your assignment for today, and I want you to send me all your assignments in PDF format on a daily basis. So we need to design a application for a fast food. I'll share my notepad screen with you. Are you able to see my notepad screen? So first you have to show him like this menu, and you have to show him pizza and fries. So he will choose from pizza or fries, correct? Okay, then if he chooses pizza, which is the main menu, you will then go for veg or non-veg. Okay, and then if he chooses veg, you will go for 8-inch and 10-inch. Similarly for this also over here, non-veg, then you will say, and then if he enters 1, 1 and 1. So you will say you have ordered a 8-inch veg pizza. Got it? And if he enters 1, 2 and 2, you will say you have ordered a 10-inch non-veg pizza. Okay. Now this same we will go with the fries also. So 1 you will say salted, and second you will say, and then here you will have single, and here you will have double. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? You understand the logic of this? So if he enters 2, 1 and 2, you will say you enter a double salted fry. Okay? So I want you to take a screenshot of this, and this should be your assignment for today for switch case and nested switch case. Okay? And you can add whatever more spice to it. So I made it more user friendly. I went the McDonald's way or the KFC way, and I added much more menus also to it. So this is looking like a real-time application. Okay. So do this. Okay, so after our switch is done, the next topic is loops. Very interesting. And I hope you might be knowing what are loops and what are the types of loops. While loop, for, okay, while, do while. Any difference between while and do while? Do while and for. Okay, once you go to Java, you have for each also. Okay, so till now we can just stick to this while, do while, and for. See what looping is. It is called as iteration. What is it called as? Iteration. So things go in a loop, means it will keep on iterating till the condition is true. Till the condition is true. Once the condition becomes false, the loop will terminate. I'm getting this when I cut the date. I want a plain white background. Any idea why this is coming in this checkered format? It would come in plain white. All of a sudden it is coming into this white, this checkered stuff. I don't know, some setting might have got activated, and so let's say the timetable, the college has given the timetable. Okay, so the college has given the timetable. You would always start with the languages first in school. So English language, okay, then language literature clubbed together, so we'll just keep it English. And 2 is then again the second language, Hindi, and the maths, okay, and social studies. Let's say history, geography combined together. So this is the timetable, and this is the date they have given. Okay, so they have given this first Jan is this, okay, for Jan, and second, okay, let's not keep Jan, Feb. So first Feb is this, second Feb is this, and third Feb is this. So if you guys friends are planning for a movie, which day will you all plan the movie? You all want to go on the morning show, the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock show you all want to attend. So which would be the ideal day to plan a movie for? 6th, right? 6th, the last day. There won't be an exam on that day. So let's say someone has, you know what Jarvis is? Iron Man, for Iron Man. He is Iron Man's assistant, you can say, you know, robo assistant. So Iron Man falls back on Jarvis for all the assistance. So if Iron Man is flying, so Jarvis tells him at what altitude he is flying and who all are approaching from which direction, right? So accordingly, then Iron Man takes a turn left or slow, or he comes down or goes up, X, Y, Z. So let's say now there's a person who has this robo as an assistant, and he relies on that person for the intelligence. So this timetable is fed to the robo. So Jarvis is fed this timetable, and then Iron Man will ask him, okay, as his assistant, today which exam do I have, or do I have an exam today? So the question which I will always ask, do I have an exam today? This is the question he will ask, right? So the question won't change. The question will remain the same, and these are the dates. So on the first he'll have the same question. On the second also he'll ask the same question. On the third also he'll ask the same question. On the fourth also the same question. Fifth also the same question. And on the sixth also the same question he will ask. Question will not change. Okay. And we are starting from, exams are starting from which date? The exams are starting from which date? First. Okay. This is, and what is the condition? Okay. So when on the first, Iron Man asks Jarvis, what is the answer? Yes, true or false? So on the first, the answer is true. So the reply comes true, which means yes. So now Iron Man has to pack his bag and go to college or school, right? So if it, so which, my question is, which textbooks will Iron Man pack for that day? Let's say he goes an hour early to school or college just to do a last minute revision. So textbooks he will put off which subject in the bag. And if there's some previous year's question papers, which subject question papers will he put? Or if there are any notes or importance, what you call them, of which subject will he put that in the bag? On that day of English, right? Because he knows English paper is there. And then he will go to college. And in the evening when he comes back, he goes to sleep. And what has happened after 12 o'clock? At 11, and so after 11:59, what happens in Jarvik's clock? Jarvik is a machine, right? So he has a timer. So at 11:59 p.m. Next, what happens? So what happens at 11:59 p.m. Next minute? What happens? The clock turns. The date will increment, right? The date in Jarvis clock will increment. So what does the, at midnight, what happens? The date increments. It increases by one, right? Okay. So I am marking these three things in red. Okay, these are the three main pillars of understanding a loop. So as a loop, it will go in iterations. So that day, when he got the answer as true, he put his data of English in the bag, went to college, came home, okay. That night, after 12 o'clock, the, the date changed, and the date became what? What is the real world now? Second. On the second also, what question will Iron Man ask? So what will Jarvis say? Yes, which is true. I'm counting yes as true and I'm counting no as false. So he says yes, then that means Iron Man has to go to college, go to school. So now which subject will he put notes and all that in his bag? Today's second. Second was, so he'll put textbook of Hindi, question papers of Hindi, notes of Hindi and go to college, give the Hindi paper exam, and come back in the evening, and the timer clicks, and after midnight it becomes, what does it become after midnight? Third, right? And third also, if he's asking the same question, what is he asking? And what does the computer reply? Jarvis, he says, yes, which means true. And then he has to now do, and then on that particular day he will be putting maths, all the maths stuff, correct? Like this, the subsequent day also, and things will go on and so forth. Similarly, on fourth also he will ask what will he get. So go up to college, next day after midnight time will increment, and then in fifth also he will ask, is the exam today? So yes, again he has to go, and then on sixth we'll ask. So on that time he will get the answer as no, today there is no exam. So you all can go and plan for the movie. No, that is false. So the loop will keep on iterating till the answer comes false of the condition, right? So every day the condition is checked. Every day the condition is checked until the condition returns a true. The loop will keep on going, and the day the condition returns false, that day the loop will stop. So on 6th there is no going to college. So on 6th, here you will stop. No, the loop, the iteration has stopped. Correct? Now imagine this scenario. Now Jarvis is a robot, right? And robot, they are machines. So imagine on the 2nd of February at 8 p.m. in the night, Jarvis clock, the battery is discharged. Okay, the clock, the timer inside the robot, that timer stops working for some reason. Okay. So now after 11:59 p.m., what will be the time after 5 minutes? So in the real world, it's 12:04 of the 3rd of February, correct? This is the real world. And as Jarvis's time, our timer has stopped. What is Jarvis's time? Jarvis is still living on 2nd February, correct? So I'm asking post midnight, 5 minutes post midnight. In the real world, what is the time? 3rd Feb, 12:05. But in Jarvis's computer, what is the time? 8 p.m. 2nd Feb, because that time the timer stopped working, right? So when in the real world it is 3rd of February, so the other people are preparing for their maths exam, correct? As Iron Man is solely dependent on Jarvis for the information, in the morning he gets up. The real time it is 3rd of February. So he's asking Jarvis, is the exam today? What will he reply? Jarvis will look over here. On 2nd, there is exam? Yes. And he'll say which subject? And which subject? So he will be preparing for Hindi. He'll put all the Hindi stuff and go. And when the paper he gets in hand will be of maths. Then next day also, in the real world it is 4th of February, correct? Because real world timer is working. But Jarvis is still stuck on 2nd. So he will say exam is yes. And which paper? No, no. But Jarvis is stuck. No, he's stuck at 2nd Feb only. His timer isn't incrementing. Iron Man asks on the 4th of February, is the exam today? What will he say? He will look on 2nd Feb. Exam is the yes. Which exam? Hindi. And Iron Man will prepare for Hindi again because Iron Man is not using his intelligence. and fifth also Hindi, and sixth also. So all the friends are going for the movie, and Iron Man is preparing for his Hindi exam. Correct? And this will go in infinite loop. Now, even if you will ask on the 28th of December, is the exam today? What will he say? Yes. So my question is this midnight increment important or not important? So this increment has to be there because this increment is the wheel which is taking the loop to its termination. This increment is that wheel on which this loop is traveling to its, has to terminate. If the loop doesn't terminate, it will go in infinite loop, correct? Because he is just jogging at the very same place, Hindi, 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 as the timer has stopped working, correct? So you've seen those movies of robots wherein the robot starts to malfunction. It doesn't work as intended, and it's doing the same task repeatedly. So that is because the iteration is the problem. It is not incrementing as expected. Is this understood clearly? This example. Yeah, so now the three main things which you have to observe over here is this is called as the initialization of the loop, from where the loop is starting. So where is the loop starting from? This is the condition till which the loop will run. So after every increment, it will look for the condition, and this increment is taking the loop till its destruction. So you can come from top to bottom, or you can come from bottom to top down or bottom up. Anyway, so if you go from bottom up, it is increment, and if you come top down, it is either way the loop will come to its termination. Getting this? And this is even though the loop is working repetitively, but the data in the loop can change. Even though I am doing the task repeatedly, give exam, give exam, give exam, but which exam I am giving, that data can change in. Okay. Now, if I simply put this into programming terms, so I take an integer I. Now I want to display my name 5 times. Okay, I want to, let's say, display Aryan how many times? 5 times. Okay, so see here, if we have made this for the exam, what if we also made for the matches? Okay, that do I have a match today? Yes, I have a match versus, what's, you all had houses in your school, I guess, green, yellow. So okay, so we had different names. Okay, for red we had Mansfield, and for yellow we had Bishops, and for blue we had Harding, and for green we had Arnold House. So this can also be for the matches, right? So do I have a match today? Instead of having an exam, what we can say? What will he ask? And against which team? So, so this loop is just like a skeleton. You can put anything inside it. So you can match. Do I have a match today? Or if someone is having some other dramas, he is attending dramas, has some dramatics or elocution. So here you form the skeleton of the loop. Okay, if I want to display my name once, what will I do? That's all right. So okay, if I want to add two numbers or find the area of a rectangle, what will I do? Then area of a rectangle. So I will take integer n, integer breadth, and I'll ask the user printf enter length and breadth, correct? And we will scan them, blah blah blah, and then we will say area equals to L into B, and we will printf the area, correct? syntax you know. So this is the task. So these are two tasks I have given you. One task is display your name, and second task is display area of a rectangle. Correct? Now this task, if I want to do it 5 times, so I just need a loop which will run 5 times. So task irrespective, I can do this task, I can do this task also. So if I tell you display your name once, display your name once, this is sufficient. And if I say calculate area of one room, calculate area of single room, this code is sufficient. And now if I just say display your name 5 times, so this task has to be done 5 times. That's all, right? So you need a loop which will run 5 times. So what you will do is you will take an integer I for iteration. Start the loop from 1. So this is your initialization. I'm starting from where? 1. Till when will I go? Till my I is less than or equal to 5. And I will increment the I by 1 in each iteration. So this is my loop which will run 5 times. Will run how many times? Now in this, I can do any task. If I put this task, will display my name 5 times. And if I put this task, will calculate area of 5 bedrooms. If I put this task, it will calculate area of 5 bedrooms. Correct? So if you can do that task in a single way, then by loop will just increase the iteration. So that same task now will be done 5 times. Correct? So how this is working now, it is saying I is 1. So you have a variable, so you know that you have to make a jar. That jar is I, and the value of that jar initial now is 1. And now how will you read this? Read the while as is. Read the while as is. Read it as is. And what will you read I as? Its value. So what is the value of I now? Is 1, less than equal to 5. True or false? True. So condition true means go inside the loop, perform the task, and then increment the value of I. So I becomes now, I becomes what? 2. And now as the loop terminates, you go back to the top. Now how will you read this? Is 2 less than equal to 5. What will you say? True. Come inside, then enter the length and breadth of the second room and calculate the area and display the area. Correct? And then I plus plus I becomes 3. So what will you say when it goes up? Is equal to 5. You will say true. Enter the length and breadth of the third room, calculate the area, display the area of the third room, and I plus I becomes 4, and then I becomes 5 also, and then I becomes, when I becomes 6, when I becomes 6, here is 6 less than equal to 5. What will it become? False, and the loop will terminate. Correct? So if I display over here thank you, what will be the output of this code? It will display you area of 5 rooms, and then at the end it will display thank you. Okay, now if I, after the loop, if I display the value of I, what is the value of I? Yes, it will be 6, because it will display that value of I at which the loop terminated, the current value of I. Okay, here if I want to display area of room 1 is, so if he enters 5 and 10, what he enters? So what will be the output? 50. I want to display area of room 1 is 50. How will I display that? Area of room 1. 1 is with which variable in the first iteration? 1 is with which variable in the first iteration? With with I. I. 1 is with I, no. In the first iteration, I was. So this is what you have to understand, Aryan. This is the main logic building part. So in the first iteration, what is the value of I? 1 is 1 less than equal to 5. Come inside, enter less than, you entered 5 and 10. Then what was the area? 50. So I want to display area of room 1 is 50. Area of room 1 is 50, right? So 1 is which variable? 1 is with which variable? And 50 is with which variable? Now you have more three variables, right? LBN area. So visualize this. Always visualize this. So yeah, L, this is your L means for length, okay? This is your length. This is your breadth in the first iteration, and this is the area. So you entered 5 and 10. So you entered 5 as the length, 10th as the breadth. So when you calculated the area, you got 50, right? So now which variable has 1 and which variable has 50? I has, if I want to display this, if I want to display this, area of room 1 is 50. So I require two variables, right? Some one which will have 1 and one which will have 50. Yes or no? So I will display area of room percentage D is percentage D. So first percentage D will be replaced by, and second with, getting it? It's this. So you will take time to understand. Once you get the concept clear, then you will become unshakable. So I want you to practice this program on loop also and send me that switch, nested switch example also of the fast food. Okay? Okay then. So I'll go to the recording if you get stuck anywhere. So this is the loop structure and this is the code of that, you know, the area of code, right? So just put that code area inside over and just try to check and try to get the output in this format. So print it on a new line because this will be printed 5 times, right? This will print how many times? Put up /n before each. So at area of room 1 is this, area of room 2, area of room 3, area of room 4, area of room 5, correct? So try doing that and send me data on